Better late than never. Net neutrality has been restored. On Thursday, the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, voted to reinstate net neutrality rules so broadband internet providers cannot slow down or throttle internet speeds based on how much you pay, stopping their ability to favor any sites or apps over any others as well. The move effectively reinstates a net neutrality order the commission first issued in 2015 during the Obama administration. In 2017, under then President Donald Trump, the FCC repealed those rules. The measure passed this Thursday on a 3-2 vote split along party lines, with Democratic commissioners in favor and Republicans opposed. Net neutrality effectively requires providers of internet service to treat all traffic equally, eliminating any incentive they might face to favor business partners or to hobble competitors. The public interest group Public Knowledge describes net neutrality as the principle that the company that connects you to the internet does not get to control what you do on the internet. During the pandemic, it became very clear that high-speed access to the internet was a necessity in today's world and not just a luxury that should be afforded to some. It became an essential part of life and how all of us stayed connected to our jobs, to our loved ones. Public Knowledge Legal Director John Bergmeyer said some of the absolute worst excesses from internet providers were kept in check by state-level oversight. States like California went even further than the FCC did. For instance, by banning a practice called zero rating. That's where, for instance, a mobile provider might strike a business deal to steer users toward a particular streaming service by zeroing out any related data charges. Other states with strong net neutrality rules include Colorado, Maine, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington, according to Bergmeyer. Telecommunications companies, of course, are opposing these rules being reinstated federally because they consider unnecessary government intervention in business. But it's a win for consumers who can look forward to faster, safer, and more reliable internet connections. The vote will reclassify broadband as a public utility, such as water and electricity, to regulate access to the internet. The move to expand government oversight of internet service providers comes after the COVID-19 pandemic exposed the magnitude of the digital divide, forcing consumers to rely on high-speed internet for school and work, as well as social and health support. Net neutrality is often also referred to as the open internet, aiming to make sure that internet service providers or ISPs, like I mentioned, like Verizon, AT&T, Comcast, do not affect people's experience of even popular sites like Spotify, Netflix, Hulu by creating a fast lane and a slow lane. Considered now an essential service, the government will also hold providers more accountable for outages, make them provide better network security, and ensure greater protections for consumers' data. So that's the facts. I'm very excited about this. I've pushed hard for this to make sure that we don't have an internet that also becomes a tiered class system in this country. I'm excited about it, but I'm assuming that Brett is very upset.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
Couldn't be madder, Ben. I think what they should do is they should throttle your internet and make you watch what they want to watch. What I want is for the telecommunications companies to have what they wanted, what they had under Trump, which is the ability to tell you, listen, I think I should only let you access the parts of the internet that I want you to access based on the really awesome corporate deals that I've stricken.
We're gonna give you Truth Social all day, anytime, anywhere, all day long. Okay?
How else are we gonna stop the copious bleeding of my entire stock portfolio other than harnessing the power of net? I assume it's called reverse. If it's not neutral, drive, second gear, whatever it is, we need to drive very fast with large gas guzzling trucks into the past so that we can finally find a way for enough people to be forced to use Truth Social that I can get the money back that I lost on that and my MyPillow stock. Jackson?
Well, speaking of Truth Social, Donald Trump is literally like 60% of all the traffic on the site, and, which is hilarious. But that's a whole nother conversation. I think one of the important things that Ben pointed out is that during the pandemic, it was really exacerbated how important access to internet is for people who live all over the United States, especially in rural areas. But importantly, I think that this is going to be an issue that maybe we're going to have to pass through Congress. Now, Congress and the Senate is very inactive. They don't like to pass much of anything unless they're, approving weapons sales and lots of money for, everybody. Other than that, they don't really like to do much. But the reality is that if another Trump administration goes in there or another Republican administration enters the White House, then they could just reverse this again. So unfortunately, we're going to have to keep our foot on the gas for people who really care about and fight for this issue. Don't get lazy and don't sleep, because they will reverse this again.
Don't get me wrong, I think there should be caps on internet usage, but only because I watch too much TikTok. Like there should be, if not some kind of net anti-neutrality law, then there should be a large person that shows up at my house and just says, put it down.
Well, they trying to ruin your access to TikTok right now, so maybe that'll help out.
Any way they can. They're doing that from a bunch of different strategies.
Yeah, and this is, net neutrality is really like core progressivism. Like it is making sure that they protect you from, like they protect the everybody from the atrocities and from the overreach and for the abuses of powers of people who get to have power. Like what they do, their plan in getting rid of net neutrality is for them to just make more money. You know how when you like go to the an AMC, you have to buy their popcorn. You go to a basketball game, you have to buy the food there. There's not, they set the prices really high because you're in there. You have to go to this game. This is your team. Sometimes you're living in a place and you only get one kind of internet. It's a monopoly on the internet. If you want to move down the street, you might have to change to a different service provider, and they only have two. They've got one that's like 5 megabytes a second, and then the one that everybody has to use. It's already difficult. And this is the argument, the counter argument you get from a lot of these people, which is like, well, why don't you just let the free market determine what happens? Get the government out of it. This is a complete false argument. It is not serious. What they want is for you to get out of the way so that, as has happened everywhere we look, a giant company corners the market and then they turn the prices way up. And then they buy competitors, they buy one kind of company in a section that's tangentially related to their core competency, and then they make you use that as part of their service. All this was saying was, if I have internet, try to treat it like a utility. You don't have me getting less water. You basically let me turn on the water. You don't have good water and bad water for different people. All right, maybe that gets a little muddy when we get to places like Flint. But even under areas where we treat things like utilities, it gets dicey. This would be the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where we just give these companies free rein to turn the market from a free market into one of just monopolies.
And of course, they're going to be suing. The ISPs have already indicated they're going to be doing anything they can to reverse this back to not having a neutral, open internet, including lawsuits, if they can, and they can. So stay tuned. But for now, it's a good day and some good news right there.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.